Okay, good day. In this session, I will be talking about teachers at the heart of education recovery and health management, igniting passion and excellence among teachers. So, just a quick poll: how many years of teaching have you spent, in your career? So, some of you may have been in teaching for 0 to 3 years or 4 to 10 years. Dito, medyo nabibuild mo na yung expertise mo, 11 to 20 years. You're really proficient in teaching. But of course, you are a distinguished teacher if you are 21 to 35 years in teaching already. And if you have been teaching 50 plus years, ay kailangan mo na mag-retire. Or ikaw ba dahil ang pagiging fossilized teacher ba ay dahil sa years in teaching o dahil stagnant yung growth natin. So we need to grow as a teacher. Ayan, dapat hindi tayo kupas na kupas. Tayo ay dapat na walang kakupas-kupas as teacher. Na wala ka bang kakupas-kupas as teacher, yun ang mahalaga. Or as education leader, mahalaga na wala tayong kakupas-kupas sa ating mga mag-aaral. Na dapat tayo ay palaging reinvented in terms of how we teach our students. So we reinvent our innovations in teaching as well. Okay? May I ask, why are you still teaching or why are you still in the teaching profession? It's really a hard profession, to be in right now, especially now that there are so many challenges that we have been experiencing. But despite the challenges, you chose to be where you are now. You chose to be still in education. You chose to still be teaching. And so, thank you very much. And congratulations for being a part of the rank of the brave and martyrs in the pandemic. Okay? Because why not? No? Why not? Bakit hindi? Why not stay in teaching? Why not teach? I did quite a social experiment during the last few years, posting something that would elicit my students and former students' response. And I would say na yung mga responses na to would really make good memories and remind me of how I was as a teacher, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, because I have been in the profession for 27 years already. So, yeah, we are doing what we love. That's why we're here, We are doing what we love. I am doing what I love. But though we have the passion to keep the fire burning, we need to be protected and we need to also be aware of our health concerns as well, later we'll discuss about that. Pero lagi nating sinasabi na despite everything, para sa bata yan, para sa bayan yan. Nagtuturo tayo para sa bata, para sa bayan, dahil ito ang tama. Ito yung calling natin. Dito tayo tinawag, di ba? So, sagutin lang kung tama o mali. Yan. Hindi biro maging guro sa pandemya. Tama o mali? Sasabihin nyo, tama, hindi talaga biro ang trabaho na ito. Hindi talaga naging madali para sa ating lahat, na mag-migrate from the face-to-face mode of teaching to modular, to multimedia, to online and virtual classes, and to use the learning modalities, different learning modalities, to augment the learning gap that we have, and our students are experiencing right now, Would you agree? Tama o mali? Walang classroom na walang problema, Yes, tama. Walang classroom na walang problema. There is always a problem, Hindi mawawala. Kaya nga lagi yan may action research, That's another topic naman. Kasi may solusyon sa bawat problema. Dahil kung hindi yan, wala na yung solusyon. Hindi yan problema. It's not a problem anymore. Kaya gusto natin ma-solusyonan natin yan. Ang pagtuturo ay nakakapagod at nakakasawa. Well, tama, Nakakapagod ang pagtuturo, pero hindi ito nakakasawa. Depende na lang sa pananaw natin at sa kakayanan ng ating katawan. So, nakakapagod, oo, it really is a tiring job. It sometimes it is a thankless job as well. No, pero masaya magturo, kaya nga nandito pa tayo at hindi ito nakakasawa. Di ba? Bakit? We stay kasi sinusunod natin yung compass natin. No? So, ang tanong, what is your compass? Ano ba yung pinaniniwalaan mo? Ano ba yung pinanghahawakan mo? Ano ba yung pinaninindigan mo? These are our self-image as a teacher. This is our self-efficacy as a teacher. This is what we call teacher agency in the teacher quality research, no? Teacher agency. As well as, of course, your stance as an education leader. No? Ang mga teachers, merong dating at merong galing. So, ang aking proposition, no, na yung dating mo, ayan yung iyong character. At yung galing mo, ayan yung competence. So, character plus competence equals a very good organization, no? A successful organization. Yung dating at galing, yung mabait o mabuti at magaling. Yan. Kasi kapag ikaw ay mabuti, it will result to good relationships, no? Lesser stress for everyone. At kung ikaw ay magaling, it will result to good outcomes, no? At gusto natin yan. Okay? So, equal successful organizations. No, tandaan, laging sinasabi ni Lyda sa movie na ito, It Takes a Man and a Woman, kay Mig, sabi niya, baka sa kagustuhan mong maging magaling ay makalimutan mo ng maging mabuti. So, gusto nating maging magaling, gusto nating maging mabuti. Yan, tinatandaan natin yung ating dating, yung ating stance that is our identity. Ang ating galing, that is our integrity as well. So, bakit kailangan nating maging magaling at bakit kailangan nating maging mabuti? At tinitingnan natin yun na doon muna tayo sa kahusayan, doon muna tayo sa ating galing bago ang dating. So, tinitingnan natin ano pa yung pwede nating magawa. And teaching is always a bricolage activity. No, it's a bricolage. What is a bricolage? Well, it is the trial and error, putting things together to make a new or an innovation. No, so it is actually used in the practical arts and fine arts. Bricolage is the construction or creation of a work from a diverse range of things that happen to be available. Kung ano ang available or a work created by such a process. This term is a French word to, we call it DIY. So we are always do-it-yourself DIY. Bricoler, tayo bricoler. We are bricolers. We are doing DIY maintenance work in teaching, and we are actually practicing creation of different works from a very diverse collection of things that are available in our reach as teachers. No? Because we see bricolage as a way to learn and solve problems, by trying, testing, and playing around. We are good at that, teachers. And hindi lang natin isusulat, pero actually, ang dami nating researches, di ba? Second, teaching is a heartbreaking activity. Kahit sabihin pa natin, even if you compare it with other professions, we will say that teaching is a heartbreaking activity. Bakit naman heartbreaking? Kasi lagi kang may pagmamahal na kasama, na-include dito yung heart mo. Kaya nga, the heart of a teacher, sabi ni Parker J. Palmer, meron kasing may pagmamahal na nakaugnay dito sa ating ginagawa. Kaya nakaka-heartbreak, Kasi lagi tayo na in love, dapat tayo sa ating mga estudyante. And it's part of our health and well-being, Kasama yan, dapat in love ka sa mga estudyante mo. So my question is, have you ever been in love? Are your students your love at first sight? O parang ayaw natin sila makita? No, not just that we love our profession, it's also we love because that we love our students and we have the passion to teach. And so I use passion and love. Lagi sinasabi, passion is past ion because ion is a charged particle. We are charged no, and we fall in love with that the charge, no, and when we come together as teachers and school leaders, we see each other, we see other people compatible with our weirdness, we join up with them, and we fall in mutual weirdness, and we call it love. Okay, teaching tugs at the heart. It opens the heart. It even breaks the heart. And the more one loves teaching, the more heartbreaking it can be. No? That is written by Parker J. Palmer. The Heart of a Teacher, The Courage to Teach, exploring the inner landscape of the teacher's life. Ang dami nating kwento ngayon, ano? Tayo mismo may narrative, no? Tayo mismo ay may salaysay at may danas dito sa pangyayaring ito sa pandemya. So, ang mga kwento ng pandemya, karamihan ay nakakalungkot, karamihan ay ukol sa anxiety, very anxious ang paligid at nakakaapekto ito. Pero yung mga heartbreaking stories na to, pwede rin nating maging storya ng mga paniniwala, ng pag-asa, at ng pagmamahal. Kasi nilagyan natin ito ng pag-asa para sa ating country. We put in faith in every student. We put in the hope for our country, and we put in the love for our students and for learning. Yan. So, number 4, teaching is making a difference. It is a mad business. Now, when we say mad, making a difference business. So, palagi nating naririnig, no? Tulungan, bayanihan. Merong tinutulungan, may naitulong. Diba? Meron tayong pinagtulungan, no? Magandang salita sana yung pinagtulungan, hindi sana yung negative. Ibig sabihin ng pinagtulungan, pinag-ambag-ambagan natin ang isang bagay para mabuo. Yun sana yung lagi nating iniisip na, ay, pag pinagtulungan, hindi negative na pinagtulungan na bumaba or masira, pero pinagtulungan natin. Kasi yung pagtulong, dapat positive yung effect, no? So, pag pinagtulungan, dapat positive siya, hindi siya dapat negative. Okay, tayo pong mga teacher ay naiiba, nagkakaiba-iba, may kaibahan sa isa't isa. Pero gusto kong bigyan ng pansin yung salitang nag-iiba. Someone who changed, no? Making a difference. Someone who makes a difference in the lives of the students. Are you that teacher? Are you that principal? Or are you that school leader? Okay? Sabi ni Mother Teresa, let no one ever come to you without leaving better, happier, be the living expression of God's kindness in your face and kindness in your smile. So, the way we treat others can make a difference in their lives, whether it is positively charged or negatively charged as well. So, I would like to encourage everyone to be reminded that we are all mad here. We are all making a difference. And so, anong gagawin natin? How do we lead in this kind of a post-pandemic society? How do we ignite? No? How do we be part of the human-centered recovery after this pandemic? Well, balikan natin, itong number 5 characteristics ng teaching for me is teaching is leading. Teaching is leading for the students to survive, but not just to survive, but to thrive. We want them to thrive in this situation. Tayo ay namumuno. Kahit ikaw ay teacher 1, kahit ikaw ay master teacher 4 or 7, namumuno ka. Ikaw ay namumuno. You lead, but namumuno, you feel, no? You feel something. And so we are leading and we are feeling the post-pandemic recovery as teachers, no? Bakit? Because teachers lead the education recovery. Okay? We have to have policy measures and resources available for teachers according to UNESCO 2021. Bakit? Kasi meron pa rin mga problema ang kinaharap, no? At na-highlight ito. It was highlighted during the pandemic, no? The lack of professional development opportunities in online teaching and distance learning. Medyo kailangan pa natin, no? Also, look at the increased workload associated with double shift classes, blended and face-to-face teaching. And so we have the challenges, no? That taxes our emotional and physical health as well. And we need to be prioritized as frontline workers together with all of these frontline workers that we have, no? And of course, teachers crying, no? They are crying not because they are not consulted or invited to participate in the decision making process and policy formulation processes that are happening in the country. So, after this pandemic, there will be more teachers needed worldwide. Ayan, no? Ayan ay isang projection. We still lack teachers. There will be a teacher shortage in the near future. But still, we are here. And how do we prepare and support teachers to be at the heart of education recovery? No, andito na ako doon sa discussion na after this pandemic, since everyone is going out already, and since face shield has been canceled already, canceled to use, how do we really support teachers to be at the heart of the education recovery? And I mean that physical, mental, emotional as well. No, they have to be ready for that. No, we have to address inequalities. We have to help each other cope, teachers as well as students, as well as other internal and external stakeholders of the school community should help each other cope and address inequalities at this point in time. I am talking about the digital divide. The blended learning will stay. No, it is part of education 4.0. It will stay. The digital learning will stay, and so still 50% of the population don't have any access to internet, do not have any access to gadgets and technology, and so we need to level up our support, no, to the teachers as well. Ayan. Then, teachers and school leaders should create an education recovery plan, no? What is an education recovery plan? This is the plan for reintegration. This is what we are going to do. What kind of face-to-face teaching are we going to implement? No? And of course, number one consideration in the education recovery plan is to ensure safety in our schools, in our colleges and universities. Teachers must be vaccinated. They need to be vaccinated. They need to be prioritized in the rollout of vaccines and even in the booster shots. No, bago estudyante, bago iba, teachers muna, they need to be vaccinated. They also need a working condition that is healthy, safe, enabling, no, safe and supported working conditions, free from prejudice, free from discrimination, furnished with the technological support needed, and of course, giving them decent hours and of course, salary corresponding to the hours that they spend. No, give them that kind of support that will not actually stress them. No, in the education recovery plan. If we are saying that teachers are at the forefront of education recovery, of literacy recovery, of of redeeming the learning loss, then we should support our teachers as well. Okay? In the educational recovery plan, it's totally different. We cannot go back to the same things that we have been doing before. So now is the time of thinking about building a better education system. No? Looking at the reintegration plan with flexibility and more relevant in terms of answering the needs of the communities of our students, that will actually look at the resources available and look at the years to plan this recovery. How do we recover? How do we reintegrate? Now the word is reintegration and recovery. After this pandemic, when we all recover from this pandemic, what is a better way of doing things in schools? No, I'm talking about physical challenges, no, looking at the physical challenges, and it will really require foresight, no, physical challenges, emotional challenges, as well as technological and educational challenges um, in the near future, maybe 1 year or 2 years from now. Of course, as we are doing the recovery plan, we need to upskill the teachers in the use of educational technology. We need to support them how to shift from face-to-face to online and other means of flexible learning, but also how to do a hybrid teaching, how to make learning content and pedagogical practices that is relevant and that is inclusive to the diversity of learners that we have. We must focus on teacher quality. We must give them development opportunities as well as physical development. No, this professional and physical development, or of course, are important. No, we always say this: the quality of an education system can never exceed the quality of the teachers. And so we look upon, no, how we can focus on teacher quality, on technological, pedagogical content knowledge of in-service teachers, and as well as pre-service teachers, no, in higher education institutions. How do we focus on teacher quality? How can we produce teacher quality? How can we let our teachers unlearn some of the practices that they have been doing that may not be relevant now? We have to listen to our teachers. We need to create channels of participation, no, for the teachers to be heard. They need to be part of the decision making of the school level, of the division level, and even at the national level, regional and national level, because they also produce knowledge. They produce the knowledge at the ground because they are the frontliners. And so we need to have good dialogues with teachers, participate, no, let them participate in the governing body, in the institutional meetings, and discuss all of these things in the different networks as well. We have to listen to our teachers, no? We have to ensure support systems for teachers and students so that we can lower the gap and we can provide access. Access, accountability, and quality are the most important considerations in education recovery plan. Okay? Siyempre, iyayabang ko itong aming support from our management. Diba? And also, we have the support for our students as well. And so, pwede ba na yung mga teachers, yung mga students magkaroon ng crisis helpline? O, tandaan ha, yung anxiety level that we got from the pandemic may not easily be wiped out, no? It may not be gone at the instance. And so we need to create a possible communication lines to listen and to operate in flexible arrangements as we strive to provide continuing support and care for the mental and emotional well-being of our teachers and our students as well, no, in this time of crisis and beyond. Okay? Of course, we lead with passion, we lead with love, we have to put in care and compassion in the recovery plan, no, in the recovery plan, because this is an urgent call to advance a human-centered recovery. When we say human-centered recovery, it is being used in the medical profession, no, the human-centered recovery. But education recovery should be human-centered, that is inclusive, that is sustainable, and that is resilient as well. So, looking at the recommendation of International Labor Organization in 2021, just 2 months ago in September 2021, they provided this checklist, no, of things to do in order to instill the principle of human-centered recovery post-pandemic. So number one is to understand and care about the human experience, especially at this time of pandemic. No one should be canceled. Everybody should be heard. Let's listen to the different experiences of our students, no, of our stakeholders, even parents. We all have a story of our experience. Lahat tayo ay may danas dito. No? Ano ba yung naranasan natin sa panahon na ito? Also, we focus on individual person. We listen and address the diverse needs and conditions of our teachers. Each teacher is different and is unique, and their needs are unique. And so we try to give them more support, no, in whatever areas they may need support. And then we can identify skill gaps and provide talents and skills development opportunities such as this, and to upskill and retool our workers rather than replacing them. No, we need to provide them with this upskilling and refocusing of skills in this time of pandemic. Okay? But of course, no, education recovery plan cannot be just reactive. We need to be more proactive because we live in a highly VUCA world, no, very volatile, very uncertain, very disruptive, no. And so we want to be prepared for any future disruptions of education. How do we prepare for that? How do we continue on with our education as well? And then we foster a supportive culture of continuous development. We want to provide information for emerging jobs that people can grow into, because Education 4.0 going to Education 5.0 requires a very, very different skill set. And there are emerging jobs that we may not see and we may not even dreamed of, no, at this pre-pandemic. So we need to provide information on those jobs and also look into how we can provide the necessary information and the necessary skills, opportunities to grow into those jobs, and then provide meaningful engagement opportunities where each one can contribute to the common good. Ito, bayanihan ito. No, the education recovery plan that is centered on human-centered recovery is a bayanihan, Pilipinong bayanihan. No, we need to provide everyone, lahat may maitutulong. Naalala ko tuloy, no, sa history ng South Korea, so that they can recover. Everybody contributed their goals in the home. So ganun din tayo, no, mag-contribute tayo, whatever it is, how little it is, we can still contribute to the common good, making us all human, belonging to the same humanity, no? And then we have to keep the communication lines open, and the school as the center of communication lines among stakeholders. We need the health support and management among our communities and for the teachers. Na teachers' health support and management, because they are the key in protecting students' mental health during the COVID-19 pandemic. So teachers are the key. And if they are the key, we need to provide them with the different avenues so that they will not just survive, but also thrive. How is the teacher well-being? Kamusta ang mga teachers? No? Walang teacher na nagsabi na ayoko na, magluluwa muna ako because I cannot do it now. Wala. Lahat laban. No? Lahat sugod. No, such a heroic deed that our teachers have shown during this pandemic. But did we have the time to actually ask them, kamusta ka? Are you surviving? Not just surviving, but thriving. Diba? So we focus on a human-centered recovery. It should be focused on people and then pedagogy. No? Yung mga tao muna. And then pedagogy. We cultivate positive patterns of thinking and feeling among teachers, and then put it on the broader perspective of teaching and how they will be able to cascade all this information to their students as well. Okay? We need to continue exploring pandemic possibilities in education. Would there be teachers who would be assigned to the virtual, um, specifically those who have comorbidities and those who are at risk, and students also. No, there are students who may opt to uh, just stay at home and use the virtual learning platforms as well. We need to be creative, we need to be innovative, and we need to look at opportunities for growth. No, grit and growth are the most important ingredients of surviving and thriving in this pandemic situation. And so, not just for the teachers, may I urge everyone here to promote mental health and well-being in the school. We are just starting. We are just beginning to look into it. We have been focused on the physical uh, well-being, no, while we are at home, while we keep safe from the virus, and with all of this subsides, no, we need to look at the mental health and well-being of everyone, no, every member of our school community. Okay. And so that is our presentation for this topic, the teachers at the heart of education recovery and health management, igniting passion and excellence. Okay, thank you very much. And we have to ensure quality education as one of the most important things we can do for our future generation. Thank you very much, and I hope you learned something um, in this lecture. Okay, good day everyone. I'm here to discuss about the brain-based approaches in ensuring teachers' well-being in transitioning to the new normal. So I hope that you will learn from me. I'm Awi. I'm an educator. I also have multiple roles, and I see health and well-being as important aspects of being a teacher, to be taken care of. So I'm an advocate of health and well-being as well as mental health. And I hope that we will learn from each other on this lecture. So this is my family. I have 3 kids, and I have, of course, one husband. And of course, I am equally grateful, but it's been a tough year for all of us, no? It's been a tough 2 years for all of us since we are juggling a lot of things at home because we're working from home, and also we are teaching our kids as they are also learning from home. So this have taken a toll on our health, as well as working from home and sitting at the front of our laptop and computers have also taken a toll on our health as well. So I thought of a lecture and conducted my research on brain-based approaches in ensuring teachers' well-being and transitioning to the new normal. No, so in this session, we'll understand how our brain works and how we can use our own brain to uplift our own and establish our own well-being, and then also look at the tools that we can use in dealing with stress and other things, no, in dealing with our own self management, and of course feeling empowered and to empower others and appreciate the positive impact of managing emotions to advocate well-being and health as well. So why well-being? Yan. Because we have a crisis that we're facing. We have a lot of challenges, and we need to self-rescue first. Because we cannot save others if we cannot save ourselves. So we cannot help others, no? Sabi nga doon sa, kung namimiss nyo ng magbiyahe, sabi you have to put your oxygen mask first before helping others, no? And We cannot help others if we will not help ourselves first. So, ang dami nating naging problema, diba? Ang dami nating anxiety sources at this point in time. No? Hindi lang yung job natin as a teacher, but also our own anxiety as well in the community, what's happening in and around the world that causes also some stress. So, I had an activity with my students. How do you feel during this pandemic? These 2 years, 2020 and 2021, have been a lot of experience in an up and down. It's a roller coaster ride of a lifetime. And so, but you can see, we are worried, we are sad, but we're also in this word cloud. Participants were also feeling blessed and hopeful to the year ahead, and trying to be optimistic. And so we look at these points of views, as a balanced way of looking into our situation nowadays. And so, why would others feel hopeful, and why would others focus on worry or sadness? No, it really depends upon how we use our brain to interpret all of these things. Yan. So, our new normal, there's so many things that we have to do to interact, to be a leader, to process change, now reintegration, and so many things, and so many things. So, there's only one rule this day, and in our activity, you can take down notes, you can pause and reflect as well. Okay, so just a question. What concerns they have that causes you stress? Okay? What causes your stress? Can be a lack of sleep, or maybe you're telling yourself, I'm not good enough, or the hours are not enough, no? The day is not enough to finish all my work, and there's so much work, no, to be done in the school and in my family. Ang daming lilinisin, ang daming susuportahan ng pag-aaral and all of these things, no? And so you can reflect on the things that overwhelm you. You can list what causes you stress and the things that affect you and how it affects you, and then how do you manage to react. So you can do this, no, and have a self-analysis of what overwhelms you, what causes you stress. Yan. Tapos, syempre, alin ka dito? Ito ba yung chillax o itong hurried? The hurried teacher, the hurried child, or the hurried teacher, the hurried principal. Always remember that we have a wired brain, and ano ba yung kaugnayan nito sa stress natin. So, kita nyo naman na iba-iba yung parts ng ating brain. And so, pinapakilala ko sa inyo ang bawat isa. This can be really very wordy, of course, you see the different lobes, no, of our brain. Yan, diba? So, you can see temporal lobe, parietal lobe, frontal lobe, cerebral cortex, cerebellum, hypothalamus. So, these are the things that makes up our brain. Also, there's thalamus, the pituitary gland, the pineal gland, the amygdala, the hippocampus, the midbrain, and pons, and medulla oblongata. These are very important things. Balikan natin, Yan. So, there are parts that are responsible for our vision. There are also parts that, excuse me, And there are also parts that are concerned with emotions, with reasoning, with movement and speech, and then thinking, voluntary movements, language, reasoning, and perception. Okay. Cerebellum, limbic system, the emotional brain, the hypothalamus is the part of the body of the brain that controls the temperature of the body, of emotions and hunger, of digestion, and of sleep. And then, of course, the thalamus is the center for sensory information. The pituitary gland is where the hormones can be found. The pineal gland is all about maturity. And then the amygdala is also the control center of emotion. And of course, the hippocampus is all about memory. And then the midbrain is responsible for breathing and reflexes. No, all of this are in the midbrain, and of course the pons or the hindbrain, and then the medulla oblongata. So meet our brain. Okay, it has all seat of all emotions, decisions, motivations, action, and there are millions of synapses and synapses. The brain experiences connections such as the stars in the Milky Way. So many synapses happening in our brain, and a lot of neurons, no, and synapses that are all connected with each other. So what's neuroscience? Of course, neuroscience is the scientific study of the nervous system. It is multidisciplinary, no? And neuroscience is a study of how the systems develop, its structures, no? And so there is a field called neurobiology, and that studies neuroscience. And what do we actually look at this, no? So they look at the brain, and so they use the brain as an intervening part of the body to intervene stress and to create the balance in our lives. Okay, so the aim is to seek balance and to use the different parts of the brain, to use the brain-based approach in dealing with seeking balance. No? Why do we need balance? Because we take care of our students, we take care of our family, we take care of our community as well. No? So we have to take care of ourselves. And the question, who takes care of you? Who takes care of us? You know? So we have to take care of ourselves. So looking at how the emotion, no, can overwhelm us. So the limbic system is the systems that regulates emotion and anxiety. So it actually processes incoming stimulus and regulate emotional responses. There are different stimulus, and there are different ways, no, of reacting to all those that are happening. And of course, we look at the amygdala, no. This is the key for anxiety. So the anxiety attacks happens in our amygdala. So it's not just physiological in our head, but this is physical, because we can see physical manifestations as well, psychosomatic. Then we also have, of course, to define when we are overwhelmed, we are deeply panicking. No? What is a panic? It is the sudden uncontrollable fear or anxiety, and often causing wildly unthinking behavior. And the causes of these panic attacks and disorders can be a death of a loved one, a divorce or a separation, job loss, severe stress. No, this can trigger panic attacks. In some people, it may be worse. In some people, it may be, maintained as well. So, panic is an emotional hijack, no? Na-hijack tayo. Nabablock natin yung thinking natin, yung ability to think. And so when we are in constant state of stress, anxiety, and panic and overwhelmed, it affects our body because it lowers our immune system. And so if it is affecting our immune system, we can easily be we can easily get sick. Also, you can be really less efficient at work, and our negative behaviors can affect our relationship with others. No, so neurohormones releases the cortisol, and it affects the different emotions as well. And sometimes, and oftentimes, it affects decision making. And so we become irrational, such as overeating or panic buying, no, because of anxiety. Ayan. So, stress hormones. Ayan. Ano naman yan? So, the cortisol, meet the cortisol and the adrenaline. So, adrenaline increases the heart rate, elevates our blood pressure, and boosts energy supply. But cortisol is the primary stress hormone, and it increases sugar in the bloodstream that enhances brain's use of glucose and increases the ability and of substances that repair tissues. And after all the irrational things have been said and done, regret, anxious, embarrassment, yung feeling of regret and feeling sorry, we have all of these feelings, no, that is affecting our adrenaline and the cortisol. Okay, but we have a logical side of brain. No, we have the rational part of the brain, which is the executive office of our life, of our body. It can be found in the frontal cortex of our brain, and it helps with proper decisions and regulate the limbic brain. But it is also the last to develop. No, it starts only developing until 11 to 12 years old. So meet your brain. It's hard to balance rational, logical, and emotional part of the brain. Halimbawa nito, may sasakal sa'yo, tapos tinatanong ka ng math equation. Sa palagay mo, masasagot mo ba yan? Diba? So, ang hirap maging logical tapos nagagalit ka. So, kailangan, yun yung pinaka-challenge sa atin. Diba? So, question, are you emotional? Are you too emotional? Are you super emotional? No? Am I emotional? Well, the brain is programmed. Now, we have habits. We have autopilots. We have frameworks. We have lens, no? And also, we have neural pathways. So, sinasanay mo yung brain mo para maging emotional ka. Kasi, siya yung pinag-work mo dito sa ating brain. Okay? So, halimbawa, meron tayong filters and attitudes. We have behavior memory, no? And we have experiences that comes to us as stimulants, no? As stimulus, like the different challenges or the different things that are happening. And so our behavior is the output of all this. No? Paano tayo? The good part is that it can be changed. So how do we change being emotional? We can reprogram the brain, our brain. We can reprogram our brain. That's why this is brain-based approaches. No? And how can we program the brain? We can use the A, E, I, O, U of self-care. Yan. So number one is awareness of emotions. Now, we have to be aware, the letter A. So, meron tayong 5 tools. So, number one, awareness of emotion. So, how can you be aware of emotion? You have to deconstruct the emotion. You have to check and identify your response. You have to know what is the story about, what's happening, diba? and what's your focus, and what is the situation, so that you will not feel overwhelmed, and you will not feel lonely, or you will not scream or panic at the same time. So we need to do this from time to time, emotion deconstruction, not focus on feelings, but also check and identify the different responses and the different sides of the story. Okay? So, naramdaman niyo ba 'to minsan 'no, yung, alexithymia 'no, literally it means no words for feelings. Sometimes it is, so bliss that you don't have any words, but also sometimes it is very sad that you don't have any word to describe the feelings, no, undescribable. But this one is, more of the negative side, or the negative syndrome, where a person would not say anything and would not identify the feelings. No, hindi ma-identify yung feelings. Kaya what our goal is to regulate our emotions. What is emotional regulation? It is the ability to exert control over your own emotional state. No, it may involve behavior, rethinking, no, challenging the situation, and reducing anxiety, and anger, and hiding visible signs of fear or panic, of sadness, and focusing on reasoning, no, so that you will feel more calm, and subside the feeling of anger. Because when the emotions are not controlled, of course, specifically all these three, like disappointment, resentment, and anger, these are the contributor factor of depression. So when we keep on bottling them inside, if we keep them inside us and will not regulate our feelings, time will come, we will burst. No? Time will come, it will pop. You know, and so it's not good to battle in your emotions alone and keeping it on your heart. So if we are exposed to many stressful activities, what do? We cannot change it, but we can modify the situation. How do you modify the situation? Now, how do you actually hindi detour your life, no? Well, let's have a break. No, you need to pause. You need to practice pause. You need to practice break. You need to stop and relax. No, you have to have breaks, and you have to have a good one. Sabi nga nitong mga commercial na to, chillax or have a break, yan, diba? And also you want to actually follow through deep breathing. We can stop and breathe, no? Can we do that right now? Can you do that alone while you're listening to my talk this day? You can do this often as you like, no? You stop what you're doing and then just feel the breathing. And it can make you even more calm, no? And then, ano ba yung nagagawa ng breathing, no? Breathing gives you space in your lungs, no, physically. But also, it allows your brain to have a space. So you just do breathe, no? And do deep breaths. And when you do that, you know, you can also be aware of yourself, no? Your breathing. So we can do that. We can have 4 times inhale and exhale. So 1, 2, 3, go. Do you feel calmer? Yan. Okay? So, You also have to break down your feelings. No, may kanta, no? Hindi ko kakantahin. Sabi, break it to me gently. You have to break it gently. When you're feeling overwhelmed, you have to list down your feelings. You have to list them all down. Work, you have to list it all down and label them. Is it really work? Is it really, am I really angry? Why? Am I really happy? Am I overwhelmed? Why? What are my feelings? So we need to break it down. Yo. Okay? So, in listing, you can identify what you can control and what you can control. And because you know what you can control, you can plan what you can do, no? In the things that you are, in the things that makes you worry. Yeah, so you can also, you can also focus on internal signals, no? The body signals. Remember, your body gives you signals like your lungs, your part of the body, no? Any part of your body, you have to pay attention to your body. Okay, what are the changes, no, in your body and what you need to do in that? Of course, I'm talking about your weight, our weight. We have gained a lot of weight, no, during this time, and some people naman have not gained but lost weight because they are focusing on getting fit. Also, the temperature and the location and the movements that you are doing, no, and you can also look at the environment. Have you been in the moment? You have to be in the moment. You have to savor your environment. Can you notice 3 things that you see, feel, or hear? Just list down everything like the clock or the aircon or a guitar or what you can see or you hear the buzzing of the aircon. Yeah. 2 things. Now, this is a 3-to-1 activity. 2 things that you can see in your mind. Is it the same as the things you see? Is it the same as the things you hear physically? Is it the same as the things you feel? So you can see that hindi pareho. And so when you boil it down to 1, what is that one thing that you see, you hear, you feel? No? And that we have to focus on. No, you savor the environment and you savor the moment. Sometimes when we are outside and there's really a very good scenery, when you're like in a beach and there's sunset, sometimes in taking a picture can also robs us to be in the moment and to savor the environment. So we have to enjoy the environment that we have. You know, enjoy the things that life has to offer us. Now, when we focus, and actually, it will make us more thankful. Okay. So mindfulness can be trained. This is a very important skills in regulating our emotions. So mindfulness. How do we actually be mindful? Check your label. Check the label. Label your understanding. Label your learning. Focus on what you can learn and how you are learning, and focus on situations and focus on your key takeaways. Okay? You can also change the label of stress. Instead of saying this stressed me a lot, you can also say that this stretches my thinking and creativity. This stretches my patience. Now, this person stretches my ability to understand. Okay? And don't suppress your feelings. What do you mean by that? I've said it earlier, don't bottle them inside, don't keep them inside, no, but have a very healthy way or a look out in giving this out and pouring this out? How do you express your emotions in a more positive way? Yan. You can count up to 100. You can write about it and burn it after. You can do poetry, even if it's a dark poetry. You can write a letter to that person or to the about the experience. You can have a dialogue. And this is my question: can you post it in social media? I don't think so. So you have to really think twice, thrice in posting it to social media. You have to do something positive. Okay? Alright, so these are some things that we can do to help us, regulate and actually focus. No? How do you relax when you're angry? You can draw lines. No? Lines are simple patterns that can let you feel relaxed. No? Draw some lines. Have at least 100 sheets of paper. Joke lang yan. Have at least 1 page of paper. If you feel enraged, you can symbolically release it by tearing a piece of paper. No, not your contracts, and not the important papers that you should take care of. If you need to focus, but there are so many things, you can draw grids and you can do targets. Yan. Drawing helps a lot. If you need to arrange your thoughts, you can draw cells or you can draw squares and then put inside your thoughts. Yan. If you feel desperate, you can draw roads. Yan. No? You will feel relieved as roads can symbolize exit points, no? Exits and detour. If you need to make the right choice, you can draw waves, you can draw circles. That's what I do always. If you need to understand your feelings, then you can draw yourself and recognize your hidden feelings. What are your feelings? Yan. If you feel sad, always paint a rainbow, diba? If you feel stuck, you can draw spirals. Parang na-stuck ako dun sa thesis ko. Spiral muna. Yan. Until you can think of something. Diba? So that's the all about awareness of emotions. And then we have now engagement or being engaged. No? You have to engage yourself to be mindful. So what is the relationship between mindfulness and the brain? People who are more mindful are happier in life. If they ask, what do I put my attention to? What is my focus? And that's mindfulness, okay? So when you are mindful, you are more self-compassionate. You can function better and you can take charge of your well-being, okay? So when you engage, you can connect, you can reach out online, you can connect, even if it is really socially distanced world, you can still connect. No, even introverts may need someone, may need a person. You can ask questions, you can share stories, you can show your kindness to the person you connected with, you can show your affection, no, and you can join community projects as well. Okay, most of all, you need to have fun. When you engage, you need to have fun. You do something silly. You can dance on the TikTok, make it private, for your eyes only. You can smile. You can be with kids. You know what? If I'm really overwhelmed, I bond with my youngest child. She just turned 7. We can even laugh without even knowing what we are laughing about. But that releases all this stuff in me. And so you can also exercise and get physical and see how endorphins can actually do to you. Endorphins are chemicals produced by the body to relieve stress and pain. Yeah. You can innovate, no? You can have a new idea. This is the I na pala, I, E, O, U. This is the third one. Innovation, the action or process of changing something, of finding a new method, of finding a new idea, of finding or designing a new product. No? So we can learn many ways. We can innovate a dress or an outfit. We can get new certification. We can use new recipes. We can try new applications. We can advocate for a new project. We can do something. No, we can teach using the different apps. So, what is your project? What is your life project? Yeah. So we have now O, openness. Openness. So openness is defined as the frankness or truthful or accessibility. You have to be open to all of these learnings. Yan. You have to be open. Diba? You have to be mind wanderer. You have to have a dream. Mangarap tayo kahit ito ay libre pa. Diba? Also look into how the patterns can actually interact thinking and feeling looking at it. No? You can also do a gratitude inventory, buy a gratitude journal. You can list all the things that you are thankful for, all the experiences that you are thankful for, even if bad experiences. No? And you can also do a vision board. Okay, so I cannot overemphasize this enough. We have to be resilient. No, what is resilience? Is the ability to go back after deformation. It's the ability to adjust and recover. So, actually, resilience and grit, I think, are connected to each other. So, resilience is a psychological quality that allows people who have been knocked down by adversities in life to come back as strong as before, rather than letting difficulties or traumatic events drain them. But they have their resolve, and highly resilient people find emotional healing and continue moving forward. No? So, resilience is also connected to growth mindset. No? When you have a growth mindset, if you fail, you say there's an opportunity for me to grow, not linger on the failure, but the learnings that comes with it. Yeah, you can also tell yourself in the growth mindset that there are challenges and it will help me grow and I will learn it. I will try to make new innovations, or I will try to use other tricks rather than the previous tricks that I have done already. But in the fixed mindset, you will say, I'm not good at this, but I'm good at this. I don't like to change. I don't like challenge, diba? I'm frustrated and I give up. Okay? So, the resilience and the growth, the question is the thriving quotient. How do our students thrive in this pandemic? So what's thriving? Thriving is defined into two: academic thriving in a research, no, and intrapersonal thriving. So the first one, academic thriving, is all about thriving academically, and interpersonal thriving talks about healthy attitudes towards the self, as well as towards learning and towards the outlook in life. Okay, so what are the 7 essential characteristics to and strength, character strength to raise thrivers? According to Dr. Michelle Burba, the author of Thrivers, the surprising reasons why some kids struggle and others shine. Number one is we need to have self-confidence. The self-confidence is the ability to self be aware of our strengths and our weaknesses and a very healthy identity. So it talks about how we are very much adept to our strengths and weaknesses and finding our purpose as well as putting meaning into the things that we are doing. And then we have empathy, understanding and sharing other feelings, other misfortunes, maybe relating and acting compassionately towards others. So this is all about emotional literacy. It's all about how people can share and read emotions. It's all about understanding others' views but have a perspective on your own, and it's all about empathy. And we have number three, self-control. It's all about how do we manage our gratification, our anger, our stress, and other emotions as well. This is characterized by attentive focus, self-management, and healthy decision making. Number four, it's all about integrity. We teach with our integrity and identity. We adhere to strong moral code and values, ethical thinkings, and practicing honesty. So you see, it's all about ethical reasoning. It's all about values. It's all about having a strong moral compass. And then number six is curiosity, being open to experiences, to new ideas, and to life itself. No, it's all about taking creative risks, calculated risks to discover, learn, and innovate. No, don't let that curiosity um, fade away. No, it's all about digital problem solving, divergent thinking, creative problem solving, innovation, and looking at alternatives as well as futures thinking. Number six is all about perseverance, no, the tenacity, the resolve to endure, the growth mindset, the grit, the determination and drive, self-mastery and agency, learning from failure, and self-sufficiency. And lastly, but not the least, optimism or positivity. No, that positive outlook in life, no, hopefulness. I would rather say that it's all about hopefulness rather than optimism, no. And of course, it's natural to be pessimistic at times, but you have that pessimism in check, and so you have a very gratitude, a very thankful note every time. So it also boosts your optimistic thinking, assertiveness, being hopeful, and positive attitude towards life. No, so hopeful attitude, hopeful outlook in life. So we need our students to thrive as well as us. How do you thrive? No, how do you bloom where you are planted at this point in time? We can have a focus on thriving rather than just surviving, because we have the potential to change the way education views student success. No, what are the measures of success? And most probably in the measures that we know of, it can really be hard. No, it can really be stressful as well. So remember, not just to survive, but to thrive as well. So the last, no, AEOU is to unveil yourself. Now, how do you unveil your true self? Find your happiness. Now, what are the things that makes you happy, and chase it? No, is it to make a change? Now, is it to have downtime or me time as well? No, so me time is all about looking at yourself and taking a step back, no, in order for you to do whatever it is that you like to. It can be organized or non-organized, depending on you. Actually, you have to create. Even if you already have family, you have to declare your me time and just listen to your favorite music, just do gardening, everything that makes you happy. Okay, why? because me time has a lot of benefits for us, no? So from time to time, weekly, you need to have a me time, even if it's just only for 2 hours or 3 hours or the whole day. It helps us unwind. It improves our concentration. It makes us more productive because it reboots our brain. It gives space for self-discovery as well, and it allows for deep thinking. It also aids in the problem solving, and in fact, it enhances relationships according to researches. Okay? So we need to sleep. Now we need to give time for our body to heal. We need to sleep. Diba? And also, we need to know um, what are we capable of doing? So, anong star ka ba? Ikaw ba ay suffer star? Ikaw ba ay nega star? Ikaw ba ay star for all reasons? Ang daming reasons. Ikaw ba yung daya, monstar, nandadaya? But you can be a shining star, no? According to C. Joybel C., I think that we are like stars. Something happens to us to burst us open, but we burst often and think we are dying. We're actually turning into a supernova, and then we look at ourselves again. We see that we're suddenly more beautiful than ever we were before. So, even if this pandemic has caused us a lot of things, be a shining star today, because blowing out someone's candle doesn't make yours shine any brighter. I just got it from Pinterest, and no need to compare yourselves with others. Don't scroll your Facebook if your idea is to just compare what they have with yours. It will make you unhappy. Okay? So also you need to look beautiful. You need to look beautiful. You need to look good. You need to do good. If you want to be beautiful, then do good things. Also, take care of your body. Take care of your self, no, of your skin and all of those things. Be the most beautiful version of you. You can also have an advocacy. You can unveil yourselves, not to advocacies like, of course, I advocate teacher leadership and wellness, also a global citizenship education as well, and many more, peace education. No, we have to be the hero that our country needs. We have to be the hero for our students, for our hungry students, for the last, for the lost, for the least, for those who are lacking, for those who are struggling, for the pasaway kids, the bida-bida kids, lahat ng uri ng batang Pilipino. No, because we are making a difference here. So we need to have your commitment. What are the things that you commit to manage so that you can manage yourself better? Okay, thank you very much for listening to my talk about the A, E, I, O, U's of health and well-being, and these are brain researches and brain-based responses to anger management, to self-management as well, and to focus on what really are important things in our lives. Maraming salamat, and let's have the next presentation after this. Thank you very much. All right. At this point in time, no, at this juncture, let me discuss to you all about transformational leadership. Yeah. So there are big questions. Now, what are the signs in your school, no, to see that leadership is present. Is it present? Should it be present in um, the teachers' faculty room? Should it be present in the classroom? How many leaders should a school have? Na? That's question number 1 with sub-questions. And then we have question number 2. Can individuals be trained to be leaders? Yan. Is leadership skills hereditary, or is it learned? Yan. Is it more difficult to transition into or out of a leadership position or role? What are the top 3 most difficult challenges that leaders face? Is it more difficult to be a manager or a leader? Yeah, these are the questions that we would like to answer this at this session. Okay? So leadership, as we defined it, is an activity. It is not a person first. No, it is an activity of leading a group or an organization. So to be a leader, you should have members as well. So it involves establishing a clear vision, sharing that visions with others so that they will follow willingly, or share that vision with you so that they will cooperate, providing the information, the knowledge, and the methods to realize the vision, and coordinating and balancing the conflicting interests of members and stakeholders. Management, no, can be learned as well as leadership. No, leadership can be learned. It can be taught. No, it can be enhanced by mentoring. Okay, so what's the difference between leading and managing? Of course, leaders look for changes, transformative changes. It shapes culture as well. It sets the direction. It is bounded by passion. It is transformational. So leadership should be transformational. It sometimes takes risks and breaks rules. And it welcomes conflict as a sign of leadership, and it takes risk. While manager actually puts on stability and sustains culture as well. Very objective, no? Very outcomes based, very detailed oriented, is driven by control and processes. It is transactional. It is rules based, and it avoids conflict. And managing also minimizes the risks. So these are the very differences of leadership and management. So, can we develop leaders who can lead? Yes. No? Because some companies, no, some of the companies that we see in and among in our communities, no, are overmanaged, but there are very few leaders. So we need to have more leaders as well. Okay? Sorry for that. All right, the quality of leadership, more than any other single factor, determines the success or failure of an organization, according to Fiedler and Chambers. Okay? So the quality of leadership. How is the quality of your leadership, whether you are a teacher leader? So what are the different leadership styles? Of course, we have the authoritarian or autocratic leaders. We have the democratic leaders. We have the laissez-faire, bahala kayo dyan, no? Very delegative. We have situational. We have servant leadership. We have transactional, which is managerial. And we have the transformational leadership. And we will talk about transformational leadership in this session. Okay? So the evolution of leadership before na top-down approach, centralized leadership, individual leadership. It is leader-based, no task focus and management by walking around or MBWA. There's one singularity of perspective, and it is a goal centric. No more of management actually, but in the present, we see shared leadership, open systems, and very collaborative leadership, team leadership, very culture or values based, no? Knowledge generation focused, virtual and in global setting. It's very multicultural, very inclusive, very multi-valued, very multi-generational, and transformative as well. Because there are signs of that times. No, we are past the mechanical stage already. We've passed the digital stage, and we are now ushering into the Industrial Revolution 5.0, where information is key, and so we need to be more holistic in this. No? Yeah. Okay, so the transformational leader looks at intellectual simulation, individualized consideration, inspirational motivation, and idealized influence. So why do we need a new kind of leader? According to MacGregor Burns in 1978, they are marked with strong emotional intelligence. No? They are willing to take risks, and they're focused on higher purpose of leading, elevated thinking, perhaps more spiritual, more values focused, and the goal is to transform the organization into this kind of let's grow together in this. Okay, what are the components of a transformational leader? Of course, number one, that leader should be the source of motivation. It inspires engagement and commitment among others. Very inspirational that when members of the community looks at that person as the transformational leader, they see it as happening. No, they see the vision as happening. That kind of an encouragement, no? That kind of an inspiration, and then of course, a transformational leader encourages you to think through it. So there is an intellectual stimulation that is happening in transformational leadership. Also, it considers the individualized needs. There's no one size fits all, even in education, no, even in teaching. And so the individualized consideration, no, and of course the idealized influence, where there are practices, ethics, no, and culture, core values, culture, generation, and core values as well. So, transformational leadership is a leadership style where one or more persons engage with others in such a way that leaders and followers raise each other up to higher levels of motivation and morality. When you feel like, I so love this company, I so love this school, maybe you're experiencing a very good transformational leadership happening in your community. No? So transformational leaders stimulate and inspire their followers to achieve extraordinary outcomes, and in the process, develop their followers' own leadership capacity. And these leaders help followers to grow and develop by responding the followers' individual needs, by empowering them and aligning the objectives and goals of these followers of the leaders into the larger organization, according to Religio in 2006. So what is the leader's goal? The leader's goal, the transformational leader's goal, is to inspire followers to share the values, to connect with the vision, and to motivate each other to work as one towards the vision. So, there are theories. Number one, the theories of transformational leadership is more of humane leadership theory, as compared to the militaristic transactional theory. So, It's more human-centered in approach. Now, human-centered theory is being applied in transformational leadership. Of course, it believes in uh, inspiring employees to do great work through example and um, the inspiration of the leader's personality. Okay? And also, it believes that people rise higher to positive motivation rather than negative motivation. Rather than punishment, people are more prone to rise their performance and motivation through positive reinforcement as well. No? And of course, it appeals to many members of the society, and it is based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay, so history of transformational leadership started in 1973 in the sociological study conducted by Doughton JV as an idea. No, this article talks about the idea of being a transformational leader, and of course, MacGregor in 1978 termed transformational leadership in his book Leadership. And then Maynard M. Bass presented a formal transformational leadership theory in which, of course, includes models and factors of behavior. And then, of course, in 1986, the transformational leadership book were published by the authors Noel M. Tiki and Devana. Okay, according to Burns, no, leaders and followers make each other to advance to a higher level of moral and motivation of morals. So the vision is shared with leaders and followers as well, and their personality matches together, and the transformational leaders are able to inspire and look at the different expectations, motivations to work towards the common goal and objective. Now, it was influenced by Abraham Maslow's theory of human needs, where the highest level of satisfaction, is self-actualization based on morality, creativity, spontaneity, problem solving, lack of prejudice, very inclusive, and acceptance of facts. Now, according to Bernard Bass in 1985, there are three ways in which leaders transform followers or transforms the organization. Number one, increasing the awareness of task importance and value, getting the people or the members to focus on the team or organizational goal rather than their own interest, and activating the higher order needs as well, sense of belongingness, sense of teamwork. These are very transformational. So how do we go about it? How does transformational leadership work? Well, transformational leaders set out to empower followers and nurture them to change. Transformational leaders are leaders who would go out and would empower. They are the sunshine of the organization. They are the inspiration source of the organization. But of course, one organization can have many transformational leaders, and they become strong role models to their to the organization by creating the vision, by acting as agents of change who can initiate and implement new directions, innovations, and another goal as well. They act as social architects, So saan ba nagfi-fit yung leadership ng transformative leadership? Of course, you look at the different models of leadership, but if you have a motivated, engaged workforce, in between laissez-faire and servant leadership, you have transformational leadership. If you have transactional leadership, and between laissez-faire, you have leaders who are very strong and mature in their emotions. You have transformational. Okay. If you have situational, between situational and transactional leadership, but have open systems environment and teamwork, you have transformational leadership. If you have situational but also participative in nature, you encourage your members to be innovative and to take calculated risk, then you have transformational leadership. Between autocratic and participative, teamwork is a good fit, whatever it fits, you have transformational leadership. Between servant leadership and autocratic, you have learning organizations, no? Looking at the teams and providing the balance to learn about what's happening in the organization, then you have transformational leadership as well. Okay? According to Robert Greenleaf in 1977, there are effective work environment that we can focus on. No? Number one, even if we work with a team, there should be individual focus on growth, balanced lifestyles, and of course, we need people to feel valued, no, to feel important, and to feel as part of the organization. We have the resources, no? There should be enough resources to support all the members of the organization. We have to think team. We have to think team. No? Together, everyone achieves more. That kind of a mentality where everyone is important in the team. So there is open communication. There is mutual trust among stakeholders. And of course, the cultural mindset. No? What is the culture in the organization? Is it top down, or is it such a flat organization where everybody can be part of the decision-making process? Okay, so we have the transformational leadership that is leader-focused but also people-focused, the balance between being leadership-focused but also being focused on the people in the organization. So when you are focusing on your leadership stance, you need visions. You need a vision. You need to have a powerful vision of where the organization is going, and also that power, the control, and the charm, no? The charisma. To be radical is to be convincing, to have that charm. While when you focus on the organization's membership, you have to put on trust that they can do the work, to empower them and to let them learn in the process of risk, I will say, calculated risk taking. Let the organization evolve as they learn and change into better organization. Of course, the spiritual component of the learning organization. Okay. So again, I would like to reiterate the 4 I's of transformational leadership. Idealized influence, that is you. You are the idealized influencer, the ideal role model, the one who is being admired. And then we have inspirational motivation, no? Where they get the inspiration of, where they get the motivation. And then individualized consideration, looking into the needs of each individual members, the genuine concern that we can let other members of the organization think and feel that we have concern for their individual needs. And of course, when you do that, when we acknowledge the needs, we can become more inclusive in our leadership, and the best efforts that we can also give to them will be reciprocated by their contribution to the contribution to the organization. And then, of course, the last I is the intellectual stimulation, where the transformational leader challenges followers to think by themselves and to solve problems using their creativity and critical thinking skills. Now, using the 4 C's of the 21st century skills as well. Okay? Idealized influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, and individualized consideration. Okay? So what are the components of a transformational leadership? Of course, transparent leadership, transitional leadership. It is really high time that we have transitional leadership right now, but also transactional leadership and transcendent leadership. What is transitional leadership? Of course, as we go through this post-pandemic, we need to have a clear roadmap to achieve what we want towards a better system of education. No, of course, there should be no self-serving motives, no, and then to identify objectives from the, of course, transitional planning that we will have, no, among our community members. And then the transactional leadership is all about planning and processes, methodologies, building the team, and identifying the different expertise that are needed to do the work and to carry on the vision. Transparent leadership is talking about your identity and integrity as a leader, integrity in finances, integrity in information, integrity in personal life, and all of this very transparent in living our lives as leaders. And then transcendent leadership deals about how do we identify mentoring, how do we relinquish control and distribute it among the members whom we can mentor, to be inspiring and to be motivational, and to look for talent, talent hunting, to look for the talents, those who have the potential to lead and to mentor them. Okay? So what characterizes an idealized influence? Of course, I've said it earlier, be a role model of moral and ethical standards, showing respect, showing attention and consideration towards organization members, considering differences, being inclusive, being respectful, looking at and respecting the different levels of abilities and the ways of learnings and approaches to work among the members, and of course, encouraging the leaders to follow and understanding personal feelings and needs. Inspirational motivation, the second I of transformational leadership, is the ability to inspire and motivate followers, to provide the challenges, to engage them, to share in the goal and undertaking, to show followers how their work applies to the real world, and to behave in an enthusiastic, alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic, passionate energy, with energy, way of leading. Yan. So individualized consideration is all about mentoring. It's all about passing the baton. It's all about giving growth opportunities to others, because we will not be here for eternity. And so we need to coach, we need to mentor, we need to look at possibilities of growing new leaders as well. Okay, self-actualization and continuous growth, self-fulfillment and self-worth, looking at each other's needs as well, listening to each other's concern and needs, and being sensitive to the needs of others as well. While intellectual stimulation talks about re-examining assumptions about the work, rethinking how it can be performed, innovating and creative thinking, design thinking follows, and then looking at the big picture and how we connect all the members, all the tasks, all the objectives into that big picture, and how it will fit, and how all the members of organization fits into the big picture. And then, of course, challenge to come up with new ideas, And asking important questions is the process of intellectual stimulation. Okay? And so we model the way, we inspire shared vision, we challenge the process, we enable others, and we encourage the heart. That is the heart of a transformational leader. What are the steps in transformational leadership? We have to start with creating a vision, no? A vision that excites and attracts the organization members. To sell that vision to more uh, networks and to build a strong network and high potential, and then realizing or putting in the roadmap, writing the roadmap. You have a vision. How do you get there? That putting the direction, of course, learning in the process, and then leading the change. We remain at the forefront, visible and standing up to be counted. We bolster and inspire others to towards the change that we want to achieve. So what competencies coincide with transformational leadership styles? Of course, communication skills, diba? You need to have communication skills to listen to others, to process information, to be good facilitators, to communicate effectively. Leadership skills, yan, instill trust, provides direction, and to delegate responsibly. Adaptability, building relationship, task management, production, develop others, and of course, personal development as well. So, what are the critical checkpoint competencies of transformational leadership? Yeah, you look at all of this: creative thinking, commitment to improve, cultivating talent and motivating them, facilitation, personal relationship, taking action, and communicating effectively. So what are the effects on organizational structures? Groups under transformational leadership, you have to put in all of these considerations. In the organizational structure, you need to have high performance, supportive remarks, clarifying solutions, original solution, satisfaction, and extra effort and rewards. Okay? So you look at the transformational leadership in school. Why do you manage education? What are the changes that you are going to implement? How do you transform the value system of the members of the school community? And then looking into causes of concern, and then studying how we will write the roadmap of value system transformation. And then afterwards, we encourage each other towards the goal or the culture. So I think that's it for our reflection. You can type in your journal what big ideas about leadership do you learn today. What are you doing right in relation to implementing transformational leadership? In the K-12 curriculum, you can use different platforms to actually do your reflection. So thank you very much. In my conclusion, we lead and inspire people. We don't try to manage and manipulate. Inventories can be managed, but people must be led. Thank you very much for listening, and good luck on your activities. Thank you.